How's it going, everyone? It's that Blue Bath here, and welcome back to the channel and another video. And today it's a car review. Oh, I definitely have missed saying those words. I really do miss these videos. They're a lot of fun to record. And I'm not just reviewing one car today. No. So you know what that means? It's a double car review. And well, I have some interesting machines for you here today. Let me spin you around and show you the Audi S1 and the Audi S3. These are cars that need no introduction, and well, let's not waste any time and get straight into it. So starting off with the S1 first, we're going to go in numerical order, start with this one, then the S3. So the S1 is a very rare car indeed, and one that I've never actually seen before in person until today. So that really shows you how rare and unique these cars are. But apart from being rare, they are absolutely crazy. Now, I would love to meet the engineer at Audi who designed and created this car and give him a firm handshake. That, or send him to rehab, because they had to have been drunk or on something when they made this car, because it really is truly positively bonkers. Everything about it, the engine, the power, and of course the looks are just insane. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, it can't be that mental. What's it running? What's the engine and everything else? Well, if we pop the bonnet, we'll find out. So underneath the bonnet of the S1 is a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder, pushing a whopping 230 horsepower and 370 newton meters of torque, which is absolutely just crazy for a car of this size. And of course, it does have to put all that power down onto the road through the wheels, and thanks to the iconic Quattro system, it's able to do that and do it very well. So this car is 4-wheel drive, which just adds to the list of mental things about this car. Powerful engine, 4-wheel drive, quads on the back. Could this car get any better? Well, you'll see throughout this review. But it is very, very tidy under here. I cannot believe how smart this engine bay looks. I mean, compared to the Abarth, the engine is sort of shoehorned into there. I can't lie, it is a bit tight in the bonnet of an engine bay of an Abarth, but compared to this, it's I can't believe it. It's so smart under here. And well, as you guys know, Audi do have a tendency to make, well, slightly messy engine bays. But this one's definitely different. It's all smartly laid out, everything's where it needs to be, and the engine cover is also really nice, I must add, with the TFS sign on top of there. It's looking great. Oh, and did I mention that the 0 to 60 time on this is 5.8 seconds? What? That, like I said, is bonkers. So there you go, extremely quick. So, along with the engine and performance, the S1 also receives a styling upgrade, and of course that is very present when you look at it. Compared to the original A1, you can definitely see all the differences right up front when you look at this car. The sportier bumpers, the wheels, the spoiler, exhaust, everything is different to the A1. Of course, with it having an S badge, it's going to be pretty insane. Now, there are 1 or 2 things that have been added to this to give it a bit more flavour and spice, like the KSB splitter and body kit. Just wanted to make sure I got that right. But as we can see, the splitter does look really nice on the front of this car, complementing the silver front lip there as well. It does look really good in my opinion. The rest of the front bumper as well is super aggressive. I mean, if I throw up a picture of the A1 on screen and you compare the two, the difference is, well, it's definitely there. The chrome grille as well looks really good. Of course, the 4 Audi rings as well. Always got to let you know that this is an Audi S1. The badge next to it as well looks fantastic too, and everything about the front of this car is so aggressive. You can definitely see that there are some similarities between the S3 and S1 in terms of the styling, but when it comes to the S1, there are a few different bits and bobs. Now, the headlights do look fantastic too. They have a little pinstripe going through them, which reminds me of the one on the Polo GTI. And I did actually review one a little while ago. And if you'd like to see that, thumbnail will be on the top corner if you'd like to go see it. But that looks fantastic. And I do believe they are upgraded headlights. So maybe they're xenons or LEDs, but you do get some extra styling within them as well, which is always a nice thing to have. Apart from that though, the aggressive angles and shaping make the front of this look so good. And like I said, compared to the normal A1, it's pretty crazy. So as we come to the side profile now, again, you can see all the differences that make this the S1. All the aggressive styling and shaping, the wheels, the spoiler, everything just looks fan-dabby-doozy. And of course, we will talk about the wheels in a little bit more detail in a second. But as you can see, the shape of this car does look phenomenal. And it is a small car, but to be honest, when we do reach the interior segment, it's very spacious. And actually, it's like a TARDIS almost, like the Abarth. There's so much room in the boot and the interior, but then the outside isn't as big. So it's great for driving around. But apart from that, we've got to talk about the colour, because both the colours on these cars are actually different. Now, on camera, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it between the two. They are dark blue, but they are different. Now, I think they do have 2 different names as well. I could be wrong on this, but it will be on the screen if I am. It has been known, but I believe the colour on the S1 is Galaxy Blue Metallic, which is a very cool name, by the way. I do love a funky and unique name for a paint. Really nice indeed. And I believe the S3 is Seprang Blue. Now, I do apologise if I've pronounced that incorrectly. Pretty cool names for 2 pretty cool colours. And hopefully on video you will be able to tell the difference between the 2 blues, because the S3's dark blue is really dark. It's sort of like podium blue on the Abarth, and then the S1's blue is a little bit lighter, but still has that dark hue to it. In person, they look really nice, honestly. So good. The wing mirrors too are something we have to chat about, because they look great. Actually, let's get a little bit closer and take a bit more detail. I personally think that these silver wing mirrors look so nice, and personally, if I had this car myself, I would be keeping the chrome on the wing mirrors. A lot of people would usually black them out or put carbon on them, but me personally, I'd be sticking with the chrome. They look really good. So coming on to the wheels now, and we do have a very nice setup indeed. Both the wheels are sort of similar to each other, or they could actually be the same. Give me a minute.
A few moments later.
So I've just had a look, and they're kind of similar. They do have a different design to them, but either way, they look really good. The size as well, I believe they are 18-inch alloys. On a car like this, I must say, Audi brought out some heavy hitters when they made this car. 18-inch alloys, aggressive bumpers, quads on the back, so many sporty bits and bobs on this car, which is why I love it so much. But apart from the wheel design with the great two-tone going on of black and chrome, we do have some Bridgestone Potenzas as well, which are a really good tyre. I would recommend them as well. Pirellis, Michelin's, Bridgestones, they're the ones to go for. And to have them on a four-wheel drive car as well is even better. It'll allow you to put that grip down so much easier and, well, plant yourself through those corners, because hey, that is what this car is definitely best known for, along with launching as well. Guys, you've got to see the launch on an S1. It is mental. I think the 0-60 is definitely quicker than 5.8. It definitely feels it, because I've seen it happen. It is like a rocket ship. It's just from there to there in an instant. But getting back onto the wheels now and talking about the brakes next, because we do have some optional extra brakes. I believe these are sportier, more aggressive brakes than the standard ones on the S1, finished off in red as well. They look really nice. We do have the S1 logo stamped on them as well. The spoke is in the way, but it is on there, trust me. But Apart from that, this whole setup is really, really good, and it definitely suits the car. It's all about the little details too, because we do actually have a Quattro sticker on the side here in black, which I think really, really looks cool. The little details always make the biggest difference, and we do get to see a bit more of this KSB side skirt here too, and we do have some rear spats as well, which we'll get onto when we talk about the rear of the car, but they look great. And so does the Quattro sticker. So next up is the rear end. And well, like every car, it's my favorite place because you get so many sporty details and bits and bobs to talk about. Because hey, exhaust systems, roof spoilers, they're the best thing on a car. So we have to talk about the exhaust system first, because I believe this is a optional extra too. It's not just the standard S1 exhaust, it's sort of a sports exhaust option. Now, I'm not entirely sure of the proper name for it, but I'm just going to call it a sports exhaust because that's what most manufacturers call it. But it is an optional extra, and it is a bit louder than the standard one and does sound pretty nice as well. I've seen this on the road driving, and it does sound pretty good. Apart from the exhaust though, we do have a really nice looking diffuser, quite aggressive in its styling, and the lights too look really, really cool. I do sort of like how the lights stand out from the bumper and then it sort of goes inwards like this. Very unique design, very S1. Of course, we've got the 4 rings on the back as well, and the S1 badge letting you know what it is when you're behind it, because I think a lot of cars are going to be behind this if you do decide to have a bit of a fun race with it, because this is a powerful, fast car. Have I mentioned that already? Probably. I mean, it just is. It is crazy how powerful this car really is. But to go along with that aggression, of course, you need a good spoiler, and the S1 does not disappoint when it comes to its spoiler, because it looks fan-dabby doozy. We've got the split in the middle and a proper roof spoiler going on, adding to the rear end and the side profile too. Apart from that, the rear end is looking really, really cool, has all the bits that you need, and of course the best bits, the exhaust and the spoiler. And well, I shan't keep you waiting any longer, folks. I know what you want. I know what you want to hear. The exhaust system. So without any further ado, I'll get you set up and we'll have a little sound test. Okay then, folks, we're not going to waste any time. Let's get straight into it. So here I am inside the S1. Wait a minute, I forgot to rate the S1's exhaust system. Well, it definitely sounds fantastic, and with that optional extra of the sports exhaust, it sounds even better. Who knew that such a small hot hatch could sound that good? And just like I mentioned earlier, it is really spacious in here. I mean, taking a look at it from the outside, you wouldn't think that there's actually that much room in the interior, but don't let that fool you, because there is tons of room in here. I'm very, very snug as well, and very cozy, and my knees have tons of room. You know, I can stretch my arms out a little bit if I wanted to. It just feels really nice. Now, one thing to note about both of these cars is that they're very driver focused. So everything is where it needs to be. It's got a proper manual box, and it just has all that you need for a good, hearty drive. So this is a manual only car. You can't get a DSG or anything like that. S1s were only made in manual. As for the S3, that's a different case, but we'll get onto that in a minute or two. As for the styling and everything else in the interior, it is so, so nice. A lot of different features are on display, such as the red rings around the air vents, the little screen on the dash which does pop up, similar to the TT, and the whole instrument cluster is analog, which is a big thumbs up from me. I do love a good analog instrument cluster. You get to see everything where it is, and you sort of get a proper reading of what your speed and RPM is. Digital clusters can be fantastic, but sometimes they are a little bit off when it comes to what speed you're doing. Apart from that though, no complaints in here at all. It's so nice, and the best thing about it, folks, is the seats. Of course, you need a good pair of seats in a sports car, and these don't disappoint. We've got S1 on the top of the headrest there. Really, really chunky bolsters, which are holding me in very well. I feel very snug in this seat. But not only is it a sporty chair, it's very comfortable too. Leather everywhere, white stitching, and proper support as well. So whether you're driving around town or you're flinging it through corners, you're going to be supported in these seats. And I will get some clips of the back of the seats as well, because they look really, really cool. You've just got sort of a gloss black backing to them, which splits halfway, and then you've got Quattro on them as well. So sort of like the same font on the outside is applied to the sticker on the inside, which looks so good in my opinion. Audi really put a lot of thought into their S-line models, or their full-on S models. These ain't no S-lines, folks. They are full-on S cars. So apart from that, really liking this interior. The steering wheel feels proper solid as well, and quality. I mean, it is Audi at the end of the day. It is going to be a quality piece of kit. Stitching everywhere, S1 on the bottom of the steering wheel, flat bottom too. That's a key thing to have in a sports car, or a hot hatch rather. And everything else looks great. You've got cruise control, you've got your light switches, everything else that you need. Really cool. Speakers as well. I believe, if I just look for the badge, there we go. We do have a Bose audio system in this car, which Bose is a high quality audio maker. So to have that in here as well is really good. And like I mentioned a few minutes ago, you do get a screen on the top of the dash, which is where you get all your information and stuff like that. Really cool as well. I think that's quite a quirky thing to have in a car, you know, a pop-up dashboard. I think that serves as your radio and everything as well. But really cool. You get your handbrake and everything down here as well. The gearbox feels very nice indeed. It sort of feels like an arcade game, if that makes sense. You put it into gear, clicks in really nicely. Very satisfactory click when you go into gear. And this is a 6-speed as well, so you do get that extra very useful 6 gear when you're on the motorway or anything like that. Fantastic indeed. And I think that's pretty much all I've got to say for the interior of the S1. Fantastic place to be in, tons of room, nice Quattro badge on the dash as well. Good stuff indeed. So it's now time to move on to the S3, the S1's bigger brother and the counterpart to the RS3. And well, we're wasting no time, folks. The bonnet is already open, so let's get a little bit closer and chat about what powers this fantastic car. So the setup in an S3 is actually very similar, if not the same, to the S1. It's powered by the same 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder, but instead of 230 horsepower, it puts out 310, or around the 300 mark is what I've been told. Now, of course, this can be boosted to 350, 360, whatever you want it to really, with a few tunes and a few bits and bobs. I believe this one is running around 310 to 320, because it does have a K&N intake. And you know me, guys, I do love a good bit of K&N. Had it on the Abarth, it was pretty good, but to have it in this will definitely make a difference, because I mean, this car is already powerful as it is. I mean, 300 horsepower in a car is definitely fast, paired with the great Quattro system as well, all 4 wheels putting down that 300 horsepower. It's going to be fantastic. Handling as well is just the same as the S1. It is great. The S1 might be a little bit crooked through the corners because of its size and its weight, but that doesn't mean the S3 is a slouch. No way, Jose. This thing is still incredibly quick and handles really well. So, 300 plus horsepower, great engine, very tidy engine bay too, by the way, once again. And we do have the same engine cover too, which is always nice to see. I do like a bit of consistency through models, so that's great to see once again. It's a very nice place to be, very tidy, very smart, everything is where it needs to be. And it's nice to see a smart engine bay, like I said, compared to, well... yeah, some of those. It's definitely great to see a very tidy engine bay. I believe these were cleaned as well, so they're looking extra fresh, and you can probably see that on camera too. So very nice indeed. Let's now move on to the styling upgrades of the S3. So starting off once again with the front end, and you can see how mean and moody this car really looks. I mean, compared to the A3, there are plenty of style upgrades that the S3 offers. And of course, with this being an S3, Audi couldn't really go over the top with it, because otherwise it would make no sense making the RS3, or not many people would buy it. So if you want extreme looks and pretty much everything, you would have to go with the RS3. But that doesn't mean that the S3 doesn't deliver on looks, because it definitely does. You still get plenty of sharp and aggressive angles and tons of sporty features, which makes it still a great model to buy. The S3 is a great car all around, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who wants a fast German hot hatch. Because of how powerful it is, and with it being in the mainstream hot hatch category, it can definitely go against its other rivals with ease and have a good battle with them. And that's the best thing about it. You don't have to spend all that money on the RS3 to have a good amount of fun. You can buy the S3 and have just as much enjoyment and go against some other hot hatches too, which makes it so good. But back onto the styling, the headlights look really, really mean. I mean, the front of this looks really angry. I'm almost a bit worried that it might come after me, but it does look really, really cool. I mean, the grille as well with the chrome Audi logo on it, it really does suit it. We've got all the honeycomb as well, and then the front lip finished off in Sebring blue too. Really, really works. You can definitely tell I tried to pronounce Sebring there. Again, I do apologise if I got that incorrect, but it just does look really sharp and mean and moody, which is what I really like about it. Let's move on to the side. So moving on to the side profile of the S3, and it's very streamlined, it's very smooth too, but it does have all those aggressive lines to make it the S model that it is. Of course, as we can see, once again, we have those lovely chrome wing mirrors, which I believe the owner said they are going to stay as well. So chrome wing mirrors for the win. Good stuff indeed, and it would be nice to see them in the future. Apart from that though, we have the really nice wheels as well, which we'll talk about in a little bit more detail in a second. But it's definitely a bigger car than the S1. I'm just looking at them now, comparing the two. The S3 is definitely a bit longer, but it's nice to have it in a coupe form. I don't actually think they've ever made a four-door A3. I could be wrong on that. Maybe the normal A3 is a four-door, but I don't think I've ever seen a four-door S3 or RS3. You guys will have to let me know, or maybe I'll do a quick Google search when I get back. But it is really nice to have it in this coupe form. Two doors are definitely a lot more sportier, and of course it doesn't take away from its form. Sometimes four doors can add some extra lines that kind of interrupt the flow of the side, but it's nice to see that this doesn't. Sporty side skirts and shapes as well, it's got it all going on. And now, without any further ado, let's get onto the wheels. So here we are, a little bit closer to the S3's wheels. Now, interesting thing about these is that they're actually not supposed to be this full silver color. Originally they are sort of gunmetal gray with diamond cut around them, but unfortunately they have been curved up a little bit. As you can see, there are some rashes here and there, so they were powder coated grey from the previous owner, which is fine, but the current owner of this S3 is going to change the wheels entirely, which I cannot wait to see what the wheels are going to be in the future for this car. I mean, there's an endless amount of possibilities, different designs, different spokes and fitments and sizes. It's going to be pretty cool to see what they end up with. Now, I think they are still going to stick with chrome, which will definitely complement the blue and the black. So that's really cool to see and hear. And I can't wait to see what they're going to rock with in the future for the S3. But quickly talking about the stock wheels, I do quite like them. I think they've got a nice design to them with this double spoke going on. Moving on to the tyre setup for this car, we do have some Hancocks, which again are a very good brand. I don't think there's such a thing as a bad tyre brand anymore. Well, there may be some exceptions like Ling Long, which does actually exist. That is a real brand. You live long with Ling Long, or yeah, you might not. I don't know what they're going to be like, but if they're on some cars, then maybe they're not too bad. But if you have a car like this, I would advise getting some good tyres like Hancocks or Bridgestones. Probably wouldn't want to be rocking around in an S3, going through corners on Ling Longs or ditch finders. But Hancocks, fantastic brand, and definitely will work for this car in terms of grip. I've seen Hancocks on plenty of cars in the past, so you know you're in good hands if they're on an S3. But apart from that, we do have the brake kit as well with the S3 logo on it too, finished off in gloss black. Very nice indeed, complements the whole wheel. It's subtle but effective, just like the whole car really. Got all the right bits where it needs to be, but it still looks fantastic and sporty. You get to see a little bit more of the side vents from the from bumper there too, from the side profile, and the wheel looking very nice indeed. And overall, I'm liking this setup. So, moving on to the rear of the S3 now, and just like the S1, it has all it needs. It's got a very nice roof spoiler, and of course, the quads as well. Now, with this being the S3, it is a bit noisier, and we will get to that in a minute. Don't worry, folks. We're going to get a sound check on both of these cars today, and I'm very excited to hear what the S3 sounds like. I've seen a few roaming around, and they sound great going through the gears. But there is one thing about this S3 that makes it very different to the rest, and we'll get to that when we reach the interior segment. But apart from that, the rear of the S3 looks really, really nice. Quite smooth as well, actually, alongside with it being very, very aggressive. It's got all it needs. Like I mentioned a minute ago, it's got some flush but sporty lines and shaping. The quads, which definitely are the best part of the rear end. The nice diffuser as well, finished off in sort of like a light grey there. It's very nice indeed. Again, just like the S1, we sort of have a dip that goes into the license plate here, which gives it a bit more style. Just like the S1 as well, Audi definitely thought the right ways to make this car look really nice from any angle. The roof spoiler as well is really nice too. We sort of got some sharp edges going on, and you can see more of its profile from the side. But from the rear as well, you can definitely tell that it adds a bit more sportiness to it. And overall, I am really, really liking the setup of the S3. Now, of course, with the RS3, you do get a lot more differences on it than the S. We do have big oval tips on the rear and a few more lines here and there, and of course the RS3 badge. But honestly, I think the S3 looks just as good. I mean, you could put the big oval tips on there if you wanted to, but I think the quads really do suit this car, and it makes it the S3. So, I'm not going to make you wait any longer. We're going to get to the sound check. Let's get to it. I've just noticed too, this is a really cool shot of both the cars from the back here. They both look so cool. But let's get on to the sound check. So what do you think of that, folks? I personally think that sounds pretty fantastic. Now, it is a bit louder than the S1, but you still get all of those nice noises from both cars, actually. Though, as you probably may have heard, you do get a nice crackle when you rev it all the way to 8,000 RPM, which is absolutely insane. I mean, this thing must rip. I mean, I think mine only goes to about 6, so an extra 2,000 RPM definitely must be fantastic. But you do get a lot of burbles and bangs as well, even when the soft limiter comes in, because I believe it comes in at around 4,000 RPM. But you can turn it off, I believe, if you go into a different mode. But either way, whether it's soft limited or you go all the way up to 8,000, which is crazy, it sounds absolutely fantastic. Right then, so here I am inside of the S3 interior, and wow, once again, very spacious, but I suppose that is the case with this being a bigger car. But whew, it is nice in here. I can't believe it. 2 Audi interiors in one day. How crazy is that? 2 S model interiors too, which is just as crazy. And I just want to, say a massive thank you to every owner out there that has let me have the opportunity to review their awesome cars, because I mean, these two are fantastic. I can't believe I get to review these today, and every car I've done is just fantastic. And I can't thank you guys enough for the support on the videos, and to the owners as well for letting me review their amazing machines. It really is fantastic, and it's sort of a dream come true. I really do enjoy doing these review videos. But back onto the interior now, this car looks immaculate. It really does. There's like no worn out leather in here. The seats look absolutely top notch and minty fresh. Kudos to the owners for keeping them so clean. I mean, wow. Wow. Apparently the previous owner kept like a full book full of all the receipts and, service history and all that. So they definitely knew what they were doing and tried to keep this car as tidy as possible. And the current owner, I know him, he's a friend of mine. He's definitely going to keep this clean as well. His last car, the Skoda Octavia, was such a clean car too. So I have no doubt that he'll make this a very awesome machine and keep it just as tidy as it is now. But moving on to the interior itself, sort of similar to the S1. There is a few differences here and there, though. We do have the pop-up screen, which I believe does actually come up and down with this button here. Pretty cool indeed, and I will get that on video for you folks so you can see it in action. But everything else as well is really, really nice. We do have the analog dials once again, displaying all that you need to see: boost, RPM, speed. This is a max speed of 160, which is absolutely crazy for a car like this. Though 300 plus horsepower, I guess it would sort of do those speeds. But everything else is really nicely laid out. We've sort of got a nice wooden texture down here on the center console with, once again, the awesome 6-speed manual gearbox. The thing I wanted to talk about, the rare manual gearbox option. And now, of course, with the S1 having the manual gearbox, it's going to be rare anyway, but that only has a manual that you can select in the options list or when you wanted to buy it. There was no automatic option. But this, of course, most of the S3s that you see nowadays driving around are DSG, but this one is actually a manual, which makes it even rarer than the average S3. So very nice option there to have indeed, and with it being a quick, fast hot hatch, it's going to be a quick gearbox as well to go through. And once again, it's very nice and light, just like the S1's gearbox. A very, very nice click into each gear. It feels very mechanical, I think is the word I'm trying to look for, but each gear has that satisfactory click to it. 6-speed once again, lovely stuff indeed. Leather everywhere, the wood as well, all the controls are where they need to be. It's a very nice place to be in, and once again the seats are phenomenal. Audi, how do you do it? These seats are fantastic. All this crisscross Bentley style leather, the S3 in the seat, and we don't have the gloss black backing to these seats, but it is sort of like leather once again. So full leather seats, very comfy. And once again, plenty of bolster for you to sit in and be sort of hugged by. So again, going through corners or anything like that on track, you'll be supported, that's for sure. 100%, no doubt. But they're also very comfy too. I mean, whoa. I could definitely have a nap in these seats and be refreshed when I wake up because they are so comfortable and so soft too. But I must admit, everything else in here is just as nice and definitely tons of quality to it, just like the S1 too. We do have the drive select buttons as well, and I believe there are a few drive modes you can go to, which are actually on the screen here. We have efficiency, comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. Now, individual mode is actually something where you can sort of adjust the features and make your own driving style, which is very, very handy. All the other features will be preset and will sort of turn the car into what that mode is. So comfort mode will make it softer, efficiency I guess is more of an eco mode, and then dynamic is the sport mode. And of course with individual you can mix and match and make your own driving style to what your preference is. I really do like the interior of this car. Very spacious, tons of things going on. The Quattro badge on the dashboard, sorry, once again, with the chrome strip going across it too, is a very nice touch. And yeah, 10 out of 10 interior, I must admit. I think the best part are these seats. I can't get over them. They're so cool. But apart from that, folks, that's everything. I'll meet you outside. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap up today's double review on the S1 and the S3. What a fantastic video it has been. And two really rare cars with some really rare options. And I must admit, it is very, very cool to see an S1 today. And we've actually got a pretty cool Skoda Fabia VRS that's pulling up as well, which hopefully we get to do a review on that one day as well. Apart from that, it has been great to record these awesome German hot hatches, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well, because that is everything for today's video. Now, if you'd like to see any more car reviews at all, whether they be a single one or a double review, which I definitely like the challenge. It's very interesting to record two cars in one video, and let me know what you guys think. I think it went pretty well, and it's always cool to do not one, but two cars. And if you'd like to see any more car reviews at all, or CAD or Park, anything else at all, more content on the above, then you know what to do. And if you're new, you also know what to do. Hit that bell, like, comment, and subscribe, all of that good stuff, because it's always appreciated. And I just want to say a massive congratulations to both of the owners for their upgrades. I mean, both of these cars right here are brand new to them, and the S3 used to drive a Skoda Octavia, a very cool one actually as well. I'll try and find a picture and throw it up on screen. And the S1 used to drive a Ford Ka. So pretty massive and impressive upgrades, I must admit, and I really hope you enjoy your cars because they're pretty sick. But I'll see you in the future, guys. Have a good one.